the starter for their afternoon tilt on Sunday against the Niners. Sanders will make his second consecutive start, and Kevin Stefanski said the first thing was to win, which Sanders did obviously against the Raiders. Next thing now is improvement, which will be one game better. In his first start, Sanders went 11 for 20, 209 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, leading the Browns to a big win, obviously, over the Raiders. Shedeur became the first Browns quarterback to win his first career start since Eric, is it Zaire? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Zaire
Yeah.
in 1995.
Yeah.
It had been a minute, okay? That's all we're going to say. But what do we expect to see now from Shedeur Sanders on Sunday against the Niners? Just pointed out how Saleh can really coach defense, so a bigger challenge, we would assume, than what we saw in the Raiders. CC, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. I think Shedeur Sanders had some good things to build on in his first start. Being able to push the ball down the field, the off-schedule throws to Isaiah Bond and Jerry Jeudy, those are things to be lauded for. The other thing that we got to point out, only 1 sack in that game against the Raiders.
Huge.
That's big. Max Crosby, that Raiders defensive front, they can get after quarterbacks. The fact that he's not constantly retreating out of the back end of the pocket and putting himself up against it against NFL caliber pass rushers, that is a positive. Now, of course, it's going to be uneven.
Yeah.
He got fooled with the zone pressure, Charles Snowden, and the NFL start. The kind of time that they've given quarterbacks in the past, this Cleveland Browns passing game led by Shedeur Sanders could carve you up. So I'm not going to take it as a fait accompli that the San Francisco 49ers go into Cleveland and boat race the Browns.
Okay, what do you think, Stephen A?
You are.
I think balling out is a bit too extreme. I don't think we saw enough from Shedeur Sanders to say that he's ready to do that against the 49ers team, which is obviously much, much better than the Las Vegas Raiders. But what if he's just better than what we saw last weekend? I think we'll be satisfied with that. I think that would be an upgrade. I think that'll be something that can build Cleveland, and they could potentially make some things happen. He missed Jerry Jeudy on a couple of occasions. I saw Jeudy open and get him the ball. But outside of that, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you know what, against this 49ers team, that's, again, is good, but in the same breath, don't have their 2 elite guys. If he goes out there and balls and look better than he did against the Vegas Raiders, against the Las Vegas Raiders, I think that'll be a huge plus. I don't expect him to play lights out, throw for 300 or 400 yards or anything like that. But if he's in the 200-plus yard range and he's throwing the ball efficiently and not turning the ball over, I think that's a plus, and I think that's something to build on.
Yeah, listen, I fully agree. With Steven, I think when you have these conversations about expectations on quarterback, keep them realistic, right? Like, think about Lamar Jackson just coming back and the way he's played these 3 games being banged up, right? He hasn't been like a world beater, but he's finding ways to win, right? The most important part of QB play is not giving the game away. I thought that what Shedeur did, they haven't done all season. In one game, Shedeur had the 3 largest completions in the Cleveland Browns in all their games of the season. He had a 66, a 52, and a 39-yard completion in one game. So he pushed the ball down. Now, one's a quick screen out. I get everybody's like, oh, it's a screen. Well, guess what? Stafford those screens too. And so does Drake May. So does every other quarterback. And that's what your job is to get it to the playmakers, allow them to go make plays. But the part that you said, CC, that I loved is the sacks. And I think what I would say is a negative in college at Colorado, he was under duress. I mean, let's be honest, like, there was some days where them boys were just coming through the games, and he was running for his life and making it. The moment for me didn't seem bigger than Shedeur Sanders in that, and that's the most important thing. He's not going to go throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns, but the expectation shouldn't be that. It's growth, right? Caleb Williams was the first pick of the draft last year and played every game. This is the dude's second start. Just look for small areas of growth, protecting the football, getting in your playmakers' hands, try to stay on time, right? Let that defense do what they can do so well, and hopefully they keep you in the game and you make it a game. But, man, listen, did he absolutely light it up? No. But, man, it was his first start in the NFL, and he did plenty to, earn the right to start the next week. That's the most important thing Shedeur Sanders did, is he earned the right to start again. He played better than Gabriel has. He gave the Browns a win. All of those things should be massive checks in the pros column. I just respect the way they went about it.
Quickly, you have a comment, or are you good?
Yeah, I think it's important to also note that Shedeur Sanders has put on tape the ability to be able to push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And that's going to impact everybody on that Cleveland Browns offense. That running game with Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson and that offensive line, they'll have a chance to get a little more room to operate because defenses now have to play the Browns offense a little more honest.
Amen.
When it came to what Dylan Gabriel did over a 6-game sample size, he's throwing the ball 5.1 yards per attempt. Shedeur Sanders in this game against the Vegas Raiders, 10.4 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
He's doubling the yards per attempt in the passing game.
And explain that on the back end, what that means, so people understand what that does to DBs and the whole concept of.
Well, in its simplest terms, the team is going to keep 2 safeties back deep as opposed to 1 safety back deep.
Right.
So you're going to have lighter boxes to run the football against. And with that hard-nosed running game, then all of a sudden you can feel some excitement about the direction that this Cleveland Browns offense is going to go in.
Yeah.
The one thing that we also have to bring up, the last thing that we also have to bring up is this. It really means nothing from a standpoint of, okay, this is this season, this is what this is. But since 1995, 17 different quarterbacks started for the Cleveland Browns. None of them won. Shedeur Sanders is the first to have done it. Why does that matter? Because somehow, some way, along the way, and we've talked about this with various quarterbacks throughout NBA history, that it factor, somebody else may have it when others don't. And when you look at the Cleveland Browns and their history of futility, particularly at the quarterback position, even with Kevin Stefanski, who arrived in 2020 and was now on his 13th different quarterback, you do want someone to come along and you're able to say, yo, that's the one. And that's what everybody is looking to find out about Shedeur Sanders.
Definitely. And to your point, Jeff, too, like when you talk about the rookies, Cam Ward not played great. J.J. McCarthy.
Cam Ward has looked better the month of November.
Sure, but I mean, this is comparative. This is his second start. It might take a minute, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, against the Niners this Sunday. Let's stay in the AFC North because yesterday Zach Taylor announced that Joe Burrow is likely to start on Thursday for the Bengals on their Thanksgiving Day matchup against the Ravens. Now, Burrow has been out 9 games with a turf toe injury. With Burrow as the starter, the Bengals won their first 2 games. They've won only 1 game since. Wow. So Burrow posted this on his IG yesterday with the caption, "He's back." Interesting. The jersey's an interesting choice. Canty, can the Bengals with Burrow under center go on a little bit of a run here and get some things done?
Absolutely. Joe Burrow has won 6 straight games in his career before. I absolutely think it's on the board for him to be able to do it again. And here's the deal. They lost the game on Sunday to the New England Patriots, but didn't lose ground in the division.
Right.
The division leader was 3 games up in the win column, and guess what? Sitting here today, the division leader is 3 games up in the win column. The only difference is the Baltimore Ravens and not the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, by the way, the Bengals play the Ravens not once but twice, starting on Turkey Day this week. So I absolutely think it's plausible for Cincinnati to be able to get this done. When you look at Baltimore's remaining schedule, for them to be able to go 500 would be a blessing. Every team they play not named Cincinnati is over 500. And that includes dates with the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're on quarterback number 2 with Mason Rudolph. And I'm not conceding the division to them. So the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely have an opportunity to get into the playoffs by winning the AFC North.
Woo! Well, you talk about a tall order now. I love Burrow, and I think he is. My concern is, and I would be disingenuous if I said a guy missing this much time walking back on the field and everything just clicks, right? And we don't really know about T. Higgins. I'm not sure if he's already been declared out or if he has a possibility of playing. But like when you look at this, I know Chase will be back. So they have a plethora of riches on the outside, and even at times they can make plays. My question is protection, and Joe Burrow protecting himself and understanding what that is. And the Ravens defense has gotten better. They're playing a little bit better. Now, the offense hasn't put any pressure on, and that bodes well, right? Because it's Cincy's defense that everybody's concerned about. So if they give them a chance, and to your point of beating the Ravens, now you're really in the conversation. I just got to see it to believe it.